Welcome to your Daily Writing Habit, episode number 583. If you're writing a book or thinking about it, or maybe you've started writing your book, but you're having some trouble getting it done, or perhaps you're at the stage where you need help reaching more readers to let them know about your book, you are in the right place. Good morning. Happy Sunday. I'm your host, Christine Whitmarsh. If you're looking for me online, look for Christine Inc. I-N-K, like that stuff we write with. Each day, I'm sharing with you the writing habits I've learned over my 19 years as a ghostwriter, book coach, and author. I have found that three things in particular have a huge impact on your success as an author, and they have the ability to turn a quote-unquote non-author into a published one. Those three things are writing fundamentals, productivity, and mindset habits. And once again, good morning. Happy Sunday, everyone. As we do every Sunday here on the show, it is Sunday story time, where I grab a book off my shelf, whether it's one of my own or a client book or just a book that's impacted me positively in some way. I read an excerpt, and then I usually give you some kind of study question about it. But today I'm going to give you a very simple tip related to this excerpt. This is from one of my favorite people, memoir author Jeannie Meach Fredrick. The name of the book is Abruptly Alone, a widow's memoir. I'll put a link in the show notes so you can get your copy. She's a big fan of the show here, just a great friend and member of my Writers Club Live group, and just such a committed author. So thank you, Jeannie, for writing this book, especially for widows everywhere, so that they can learn from your lessons and your story. So here's the excerpt. I took Moon and Sky for a leisurely walk, and then we headed home. I hadn't planned my day out very well and was a bit restless. Brandy Alexanders were on my mind all week, and I had bought the ingredients. Suddenly it occurred to me, I'd make a Brandy Alexander and enjoy it with Larry at the cemetery. I mixed one and hoped I wouldn't get stopped by the police along the way. I got to Larry's grave and sat down on it facing his headstone. Whenever I went to visit him, I always talked out loud to him. I'd tell him what events had happened since the last time I was there and sometimes asked him questions. Today, I toasted him with my dreadful Brandy Alexander and talked to him about all the previous Thanksgiving memories. I talked about our times in Omasa and in Crescent City. I talked about all the friends, neighbors, and family members who we'd spent the holiday with. I talked about the food we ate and, of course, those Brandy Alexanders. As I spoke, I became more emotional knowing that those times were gone, and I'd be making more memories with new people, whoever they might be. I cried, and through those tears, I kept talking. I must have looked like a hot mess. I looked up to see a man walking past the cemetery, just on the other side of the fence. We briefly made eye contact. I must have scared the daylights out of him because he picked up his pace and made it clear that he had business elsewhere. I completed my monologue, poured the remaining drink out near his headstone, and told him to enjoy it. I went home. I realized that being home alone was not what I wanted to do on Thanksgiving, and going to anyone's house was also not what I wanted to do. I weighed the two and decided against staying home. I'd been there enough alone. I ended up having dinner with Bill and Helen and their family and friends and enjoyed myself. I ate well, drank something other than those god-awful Brandy Alexanders, and made my first Thanksgiving memory of my own. And again, that is from the book Abruptly Alone, a widow's memoir by Jeannie Meach Fredrick. And just kind of a tip for you today, especially those of you working on memoirs or planning on it. Don't forget to sound like you, even when you're writing the hard stuff. I don't know if you noticed, that was a pretty moving passage. Well, you obviously noticed it was a moving passage, but you could still, even whether you know Jeannie or not, you can hear the author's voice, her very clear narrative voice, just with the little bits of humor about the Brandy Alexander and looking like a hot mess as that guy walks by on the other side of the fence. Don't forget to sound like you, even when you're writing the hard stuff or the serious stuff. Keep your author narrative voice clear in your book. She did a great job of that here. And as always, thank you for joining me here on your Daily Writing Habit, where I am helping you write and finish writing an awesome book. And be sure and drop by my Inc. Authors group on Facebook for motivation, accountability, book writing, publishing resources, and more. Until tomorrow, happy writing.